Welcome back to Diane'sFarmDozen.com. I'm Diane Conklin, and I am happy that you are joined us for episode 10. Episode 10 is similar to episode 9, and yet it was different. Episode 9 was outcome versus versus process versus outcome, right? Process versus result. Episode 10, we're going to talk about today, is you have to plant before you can reap the rewards. And this is really more about systems, right? And things having a particular, definitely having an order. Um, because as a society, we tend to be very, um, we want things now, right? We want things, we want the result now before we work for it. And sometimes we forget you have to plant the seed, you have to water it and fertilize it and give it the right amount of sunshine before that seed pops through the ground as a little green sprout. And that little green sprout over time turns into a little plant. And that little plant over time turns into a bigger plant. And if it was a tomato plant that you planted, pretty soon that tomato plant is has little itty bitty tomato buds on it, right? And then it'll have a small tomato, and then the tomato gets bigger, and the green tomato turns into a red tomato or yellow if you planted yellow ones, right? But they start off green. That process takes time. But you don't end up with the tomato before you plant the seed. Now, you do because you just go to the store and buy tomatoes. but but in life and in business, it's the same way. Instant gratification doesn't exist in many places. And if someone's selling you or telling you you can make $1 million in the next 90 days, run. It's not going to happen. In most instances, unless you already have a list and a business and people who love you and a following, and not just a following on social media, I'm talking about relationships, not a transactional relationship, but a relational relationship with somebody, right? Here's the thing. You have to put in the work. I know this is not popular. I get it. You have to put in the work before you reap the reward. The only instant millionaire that exists in the world today is the one that you see and did after they've become. You didn't see the 20 years, the 10 years, the 5 years of struggle and strife and grief and pain and sleepless nights and time away from their family and all the things that it might have taken. Oh, look, an overnight success. There's no such thing. Get it out of your head. There's plenty of stories. Colonel Sanders was, I don't remember how old, in his 60s, I think, when KFC was born and he started making money with that. Abraham Lincoln. I mean, think about and look, it's not true of everyone, right? Bezos and Zuckerman with Facebook and Amazon and the Zappos guy, Tony, I can't remember his last name, but they were younger, but it was a different time, right? It's not about age. All of those people, even the young guys, right, who made it when they were younger, it took them time because it's a process, because there's no such thing as an overnight success. You have to put in time, you have to put in work to reap the rewards that you want. Alex Mendozian said once, and actually said it a lot, but he's the one who said it. The hardest dollar you'll ever make is the first one. The first one. After that, you build momentum. After that, you know how to make $1, you can make two. If you know how to make $2, you can make four. You know how to make $4, and you can go back and make another dollar, right? Kind of thing. So it's this piece of we want things right now, and I get it. And things are faster now than they've ever been. I mean, we live in an online digital society. When I came up through the information marketing, which is what we called it before it became digital marketing and online marketing, We shipped a box. The BOC, box of crap, right? BOS, box of stuff, whatever you want to call it. We shipped a box. Orders came in on the phone or via fax. Right? There it was, an order that we processed manually. Process the credit card. Now things are instantaneous. You go online, you place an order, you get an email that says, "Hey, this thing is, sometimes it's a digital product. Don't have to ship." And if you want something quick, whether you like them or not, Amazon will send it sometimes same day, overnight. And so we've created this society. We've created people who believe that everything should be here right this minute. Right? I laugh when I get impatient with somebody who's sending me something and it's not here in 2 days. And but then I think, gosh, Diane, it's not Amazon, right? Not every company has the ability to do what Amazon has the ability to do and the shipping relationships and all that. In your business, it's the same. Part of what I'm saying here is, yeah, you have to plant the seed before you can reap the reward. That's this episode. That's what this is about. Stop expecting everything to happen as if it's magic. Stop expecting to get a result that you didn't work for. Look, if you were lucky enough to have parents or family members or somebody that left you money and you've always had it, good for you. But being successful in business is going to take work. Started off talking about this, right? And if you change your perception of how you look at this, it's actually a lot of fun to watch that seed turn into a little bitty sprout and then a plant and then a bigger plant and then for it to bear fruit. Whatever the plant is, whether it's a tomato plant, a peach tree, a lime tree, a stalk of corn, right? Whatever. But you have to have some patience. You have to slow down a little bit in order to enjoy the process. Now, look, when you hit the reward, when you get when the plant pops up, right? When your system works and you end up with the thing at the end that you're supposed to get, I want you to celebrate. I want you to shout it from the rooftops, whatever it is, however you want to celebrate. I want you to do that. Most of us don't celebrate enough. I also want you to be patient. When you plant the seed, it's going to take some time for it to grow. Once it starts to grow, it takes a certain amount of time for it to bear this first bit of fruit. And then pretty quickly, that little fruit turns into something that you can pluck off and actually eat or use, however you want to use it. It's the same with money. Build yourself a money machine, right? Where you put $1 in one side and $100 comes out the other. Build that. Build your business so that it works whether you're there or not, right? That's a business, not a job. I want you to have all that. But I also want you to be realistic about what it takes to get there. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 30 days. If your goal is six figures or your goal is $1 million and you expect that to happen in 30, 60, 90 days, it's not. Now, does it sometimes? I've helped multiple people, 8 or 10 that I can think of off the top of my head, go from 0 to 6 figures in 90 days. Here's what people won't tell you though, is all of those people had a list. They all had people who either knew who they were or had bought from them before. That's a huge advantage over somebody starting truly from zero, truly from scratch, truly from, I went from a job to now I want to own my own business. You got to build your list. You got to have people who want to buy from you, right? So yeah, I've helped. And look, I talk about it. It's marketing, right? And it's true. I have helped people go from zero in this business to 6 figures in 90 days, multiple times in my career. It's not that hard to do if you have the right situation. Every single one of those people came to me and they had another business that they were already running. They had a list, they had people who knew them. And so we just built a different thing and boom, it can happen really fast. The good news also is that after you do this hard work and you reach a certain level, many times to get from one level to the next happens quick. Be patient. Delayed gratification allows you to not be frustrated and not get mad and to not want to give up because you know it's not going to happen overnight. Stop letting people who want you to just buy their thing convince you that this is easy or that it's going to happen overnight because it's neither of those things. All right? Plant the seed before you reap. And that means you have to have systems in place throughout the process so you know what's going to happen when that little sprout comes through the dirt. You need some help with your systems. You need some help figuring out how long it's going to take. You need some help building that company to 6 or 7 figures. Reach out. Let's talk. I would love to help you do it. I hope you enjoyed lesson number 10, episode number 10. You have to plant before you reap. Don't forget that. Until next time, make it a great day.